company in the Memorial Gardens. There's another ceremony I have to perform there. If you'd like to visit again. Not yet, but soon.
We got sure. Okay, but what kind of right? Sure, and I get missing home. With the undead! Or, I enjoy your company.
You know I can't turn down spending more time with you.
How lovely to hear you say so. I'll always be glad to show you around the tombs, my dear. At your pleasure.
I'll take you up on that.
Wonderful. Until then.
I do love companion quests, yes. He's a little homesick. Just a little homesick. Ah. Let us view regret. Hello. Let's see what we can learn about Solus.
You cannot do this, Algernon. You swore that we would give up our commands when this horrific war was over.
Our people need our leadership. If you're unwilling, leave.
Our people must rebuild, and we must help unite them.
So, we did not fight for freedom, but to conquer this land and our own.
We fought to win, and now the Evenuris are as gods. I do not answer to Mythal's annoying lapdog.
The people are afraid. They must believe in something.
They need strength.
And wisdom.
They need gods who can protect them.
We are not gods. You will learn that.
Every lapdog hides a wolf inside.
They bought into their own legend.
That was strange. They were speaking Elven, but I understood it.
I believe we have experienced a memory in each of our native languages.
Not just any memory. One of the Dread Wolves.
And the mages who declared themselves my gods? Well, mine and Davrin's, and Rook's.
Not mine. Revelatory, but also bad. They betrayed us. Yeah. No, we're gonna go sarcasm here. Also bad.
It's not every day you witness the start of a religion. I wonder if they're all this disappointing.
Generally, yes.
I wish they were monsters. Something grand and terrible. Seeing them like that, they're no better than Tevinter nobles.
But no worse, either. They were people. And people can let you down.
Alright, what else can we take from this memory?
Elgernon was hungry for power. Did anything he could to get it, and to hold on to it.
Then Solus, furious at Elganon's installing himself as a despot, started his rebellion.
There's another moving part in this. Mythal. She was keeping the peace.
Mythal and Solus were close. The Inquisition found a temple to Mythal, and there were wolf statues everywhere.
Then she sides with Elgernon over him. A betrayal.
I see Mythal's reasons. No wonder he was angry. Both of these are true. Mythal wanted to be the voice of reason to Elgernon. Notice how Mythal is not with Elgernon and Gillenane. Unless, of course, Mythal became Gillenane. And yes, in siding with Elgernon, she did betray Solus. But which way do we fall in our opinion? Solus led a rebellion against them, but he did not do it to take power for himself out of jealousy, more out of fear, more because he wanted to free the people. That isn't to say that he agrees with how the people have gone on in the world, but he didn't do it from a place of selfishness. For any not that that is not to say that he didn't also do it for his own reasons and for his own ends, but he didn't do it necessarily for selfishness. I think because of the person that I am, I'm going to say that I see Mythal's reasons. That isn't to say that I don't understand why he was angry about it, but I can see her reasoning. I can see both sides of this particular divide.
I think I get where Mythal is coming from. Really? You've just finished some big war, everyone is exhausted, and now Elgernon won't give up power. If Mythal sided with Solus, would Elgernon have backed down?
Not a chance.
It would have led to another war. Mythal tried to keep the peace.
And Solus must see that, but still can't accept that she chose peaceful politics over his ideals.
Perhaps these murals aren't simply memories. They're what Solus wishes to forget.
His regrets. That means they're a way to learn his weak points.
Why are we worried about Solus? He's trapped.
Right. But the Dread Wolf was the god of trickery. He's looking for a way out. Bet on it.
Meanwhile, keep your eyes open in the crossroads. If there's a way to restore the rest of these murals, Solus would have kept it in his hideaway. It'd be nice to get inside his head for a change.
A memory of false gods, and we will have many more of them. That is for certain. That was interesting. Very interesting. Okay, that is no longer a pillar that we can use, but we have similar pillars. Okay, we don't have the pillar for that one. Nor this one. There is one downstairs as well. Aha, we do have this regret. Time to learn more! We picked this up a while ago.
I was not certain you would come.
You were the one who walked away. I never turn my back when my friend needs me.
The Evanuris seek the magic of the Blight.
Impossible. The Blight is safely sealed away forever.
Though I wish I could believe you, I have sensed the breaking of the wards.
I will investigate your claims. If they forget the danger of the Blight, I will endeavor to remind them.
What if, instead, you left the Evanuris and remained with me? Do you not wish for freedom from this struggle?
Be at peace, love. I will stop them.
As you must. The Blight is our mistake.
She did not stop them in the end. He's a sucker for cinnamon shortbread.
Did Mythal call Solus love in that memory?
That's what it sounded like.
So they were doing it.
The elven gods were free with their emotions. They felt things deeply. The way they express things, well, it feels romantic to us, but that wasn't really how it was. Back then, I mean.
Nah, they were doing it.
They were absolutely doing it. Maybe. Moving on. Yes, obviously. I don't think so at Ick. Yes, obviously.
Oh, they were absolutely doing it.
Being with someone you're rebelling against doesn't sound like Solus.
He also met her in secret and talked about how they could run off together.
It sounded so tragic and romantic.
Oh, wait. Never mind. That does sound like him.
So the Dread Wolf goes to Mythal. They might be fighting, but they have history.
And he warns her about the other gods using the Blight. That's more important than his rebellion. It's like kingdoms coming together when an archdemon rises.
Mythal didn't think it was possible. She said the Blight was sealed away. There's an old legend about it. Davrin, the one with Andrul's armor. Not sure it matters.
Tell us the story.
We're deep in elven lore already. What's the legend say?
Right. Well, Andrul was the goddess of the hunt. She put on armor, magic armor, made of something called the Void, drove her mad.
I remember this one. The other gods were afraid Andrul would turn on them. She was doing all kinds of horrible things, causing plagues. It does sound like the Blight.
Well, it all ends with Mythal fighting Andrul. After, Mythal turned into a dragon.
She what? Why didn't you start with that?
Anyway, she took Andrul's armor away. Then Andrul's madness left, and peace returned.
Intriguing. So it's possible Andrul stumbled onto the magic of the Blight.
And when Andrul went mad, Mythal took it from her and locked it away.
Until someone started using it again.
Solus felt guilty, Solus was smug, Solus was worried. No, Solus felt guilty. And he was worried.
Okay, Solus warns Mythal about the other gods using the Blight. It's not just bad, it's something bad he feels responsible for. The Blight was our mistake.
How is the Blight their mistake? Did they find it? Did they make it? What does that mean?
Whatever it was, it convinced Mythal to take him seriously.
So Mythal goes off to investigate what Solus says. Then, what? It's too clean.
Seems plenty messy with them doing it.
But this isn't just a memory. It's something Solus wanted to hide. What's the crime? What did we see here that he feels guilty about?
I think I might know. When the Inquisitor was saving the world from the breach, she met Mythal.
What? Like in a dream?
It was complicated. She helped the Inquisition. There was a magic pond and a dragon.
Nice.
The point is, she also said the other elven gods betrayed her, killed her.
We did run into that in Inquisition. What do you mean by killed?
Okay, sorry, point of order. If they killed Mythal, how was she still around to help the Inquisition?
Elven god magic? She'd spent centuries gathering strength and sharing people's bodies, I think.
If it was a truly benign possession, that speaks to her character.
Yeah, she is more spirit than living being these days. That I do recall. And yes, what exactly with that armor? It sounds like an important detail, but they leave the story at that. Well, he clearly blames himself.
Solus tried to do the right thing by warning Mythal about the other gods using the Blight. But he got her killed.
Well, it's not just that she died.
What do you mean, Tosh?
It's... Ugh. There was stuff he wanted to tell her, but he waited too long, and then she was dead. He never got to make it right. That twists you up.
That's it. There's our crime.
Doesn't really tell us anything we can use, though.
We know more than we did. That's something.
Then I guess we keep our eyes open if we come across more of these memories.
Mm-hmm. I'm loving these little powwows. That makes me happy. Aha, here's another one. We've picked up a few of these. Oh, woo.
You dare to try to cage us, jealous of our growing power!
You will pay the final price for this betrayal.
We warned you not to use the Blight. For this, and for Mythal, I sentence you to sleep in exile ever after. Your own lives will form the veil that keeps the horror you unleashed at bay.
So he locked the gods away and created a veil between this world and the Fade. I mean, they were terrible, no question. But what he did, it didn't just stop them. It destroyed our culture, our world.
It wasn't just to stop them. It was to stop the Blight. We've seen how bad Elgar'nan and Gillenane are. Imagine all 7 corrupted gods running wild.
So he created the veil just to keep the elven gods locked in their prison?
Yes, to keep them from accessing the Fade. But was the creation of the veil around the world an accident?
You heard him yelling. That's not the sound of a ritual going right.
What do you think, Rook?
It does make them more of a group working together than just having them hanging out in different rooms would. I mean, the whole reason why they're hanging out in specifically different rooms is so that when we visit the lighthouse, we can always find them. But even still, every time we come back here, sometimes they're in different places than we expect them to be. So, like, we've seen Harding and Balara out and about in the little square area outside of the front of the lighthouse. We've seen two of them in a particular person's room having conversations. Like, they do hang out with each other. It's just that sometimes we're off in the world while they're moving about the lighthouse. There's only so much pathing that they wanted to do in what is essentially a place for us to interact with these with our party members, our NPCs. But as I said, as to what this is talking about, what do we think? It makes sense. It's not just us panicking. Solus did his best. I agree with the Sentinel. He tried many paths to make the Evanurists stop their nonsense, and he kept failing time and time again to convince them, to get them to back down, to get them to see reason. He sent Mythal, the peacekeeper that supposedly they still listened to investigate their shenanigans. It got her killed. He had tried in every conceivable way to stop them from being what they became, to get them to back down from what they were turning into, and they didn't stop, refused to stop, and so he rebelled against them and locked them away. But just because he did all of that doesn't mean it all went well, or that there weren't complications, that things didn't quite go as expected. I think he indeed did do his best.
Honestly, looking at this memory, I think I'm with Solus here.
Even as he destroyed our people's world, locked away who we were?
Our gods were using the Blight. I think the Elven Empire was burning down one way or another. And it's clear he wishes he'd done it differently. That's why he's ashamed of this memory.
I had another question, and I'm sorry, maybe this doesn't matter, but Solus trapped the Blighted Gods in an ancient elven building, right?
That's what it looks like. Maybe a palace? Fancier than what I've seen in Arlethan, at least.
And then, the Magisters were lured into the Fade. They broke in, which let the Blight escape, and turned the Golden City black.
Right, and the Black City hangs in the Fade, a little reminder of their mistakes. What's wrong, Lace?
It's just, the Chant of Light says that the Maker built for them the Golden City, the center of all creation. But if the Golden City was an ancient elven palace, then the Maker didn't build it. The elves did. The Chant of Light is Andraste's visions from the Maker, but it sounds like it's wrong.
You're asking if we just disproved the entire Andrastian faith.
Did we?
Does that make Solus the Maker? Oh boy, this is deep. This is deep. Creating the Fade may have devastated the mortal civilizations, but if he hadn't done it, having a bunch of corrupted gods would have been probably a lot more terminal. And it sounds like this thing went wrong anyway and went further than he intended. I'm with him on this one. And so the ritual that we disrupted at the beginning of the Veilguard is precisely him trying to fix his earlier mistake, or at the very least, adjust it so that the elven gods are still contained, but the Fade is brought back into the world to correct what went wrong the first time round. And then, of course, we disrupted it and let a couple of those assholes out by accident as a side effect. So, the Andrastian faith is what has been the main religion for the first three games. The Chantry and the Chant of Light have been a big part of Dragon Age Origins, of Dragon Age 2, of Dragon Age the Inquisition. It is not the only faith in Thedas, but it is essentially, much like the Catholic faith in our own world, one of the biggest religions in the world. That isn't to say that everyone is an Andrastian, but it is, for these games, the biggest religion in the world. So, do we still believe in the Maker? Now coming to understand that perhaps the story of the fall of the Tevinter mages and Andraste's coming into being as the patron saint of the patron saint of the Maker, and thus the Andrastian Church and the Chantry and the Chant of Light's origins. Does this mean that we no longer believe in the Maker of the world? Now knowing an even older truth. Yep, seems like the entire Maker faith is based on a bunch of inaccuracies at best. It happens. So does that mean that we should cover this up because it offends the faithful? I mean, the Chantry's not going to be happy about it. Absolutely not. But it does mean that the elven gods, which predate the Chantry by quite a lot of time, are the reason for the blight, and B, part of Andrastian culture now. Like, whew. So we have some options here. Do we still believe in the Maker? Did we ever? Confirm continued belief in the Maker is the understanding of this one. The understanding of this one is: speak as someone who does not believe in the Maker. Don't let this shake you. Put aside questions of the Maker. It's not our problem. Share Harding's belief and anxiety in learning this. Believe me, this hurts me too. Speak as someone who does not believe in the Maker in a different way. I'm sorry, this hurts. Or do not give a personal view regarding belief in the Maker. The lessons are what matter. So, do we believe that that Mayrin Deriva, our version of Rook, is a faithful Andrastian who believes in the Maker or not? Or whether she would like to not even weigh in on this question. Not our problem going forwards, using information that we do have, learn new things and work things out after the disaster is over. I feel like because of how much influence the Chantry and their followers have in the politics of the world, discounting this as not our problem is not a good way to go. The Chantry is going to have a reaction to this, and they have a great deal of power and influence in the politics of the world. This could become a problem. It's currently not our problem. That does not necessarily mean it won't become our problem. Hey, Mr. Scrake, welcome in. After all, we may discover things that throw things in even further disarray, or that prove that what we just learned is wrong too. Too early to decide anything. It's true. This is put aside. This is just... I mean, the lessons are what matter is more your way rather than it's not our problem, is kind of what you're saying more, Trav. And either way, we could just leave this for later, but I don't believe our Rook necessarily believes in the Maker. I don't think we've really spoken at any point in time to say that we do. But do we say, I'm sorry that this hurts you, or do we say, don't let this shake your faith? I only believe in Haymaker. I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Scrake. I do. You did kind of come in halfway through my diatribe on this whole discussion. Haymakers are very effective. That's definitely something to believe in. Is it a religious thing? I don't necessarily think so, unless your religion is wrestling. Whew, this is a decision. And I have made all the decisions in this game for this character, so... Act 5 boss sure thing taught me that. That's fair. That's fair. Darkest Dungeon 2 is hard. 4 haymakers for 60 crit in a row? Ow. Ow. That would hurt a lot. Yep, that might make you see God, one way or another. The lessons are what matter. I think that's where I'm gonna go.
Lace, I don't think you'll ever fully know whether the Chant of Light is literally true or not. What matters is that in its better moments, the Chantry encourages people to be kind and help each other.
What do we tell the Chantry about this? Do we tell them about this?
People are already questioning because of Elgernon and Gillenane. It hasn't stopped them believing.
I guess people need that comfort. Even if some parts of it aren't totally true.
The Dalish clans are struggling with the same thing. What do we keep? What do we lose?
The Elven Gods, the Maker. No matter who you light a candle to, you've got some hard questions to ask yourself right now.
Doctrine is not the truth. It is one of many paths to the truth.
I recognize the sentiment, though not the specific quote. Who said that?
My mother.
Ah.
The Kuhn.
Questions of faith aside, we have some very real gods that still need killing.
Looks like there are 3 more of these murals with the Dreadwolf's old memories. Wonder what else he's hiding.
That is a quote, or at least a quote inspired by the Kuhn, by the way. Because she was once a devout follower of the Kuhn, which is another major religion slash other. No. We're doing the other side. I guess we're gonna do all of these. We may have picked up all of these statues. I don't know. We'll find out. One more memory. One more regret. What do we learn this time?
You have so long observed the world. Why not consider joining it?
But I have no desire to live as humans. I have the Fade. Besides, this talk of taking on a solid form. I think you underestimate the danger. When you took the glowing stone to build your body, did the earth not shake?
Delirium gives us the strength we had when we were of the Fade. We are the best of physical and spirit. I need your wisdom, Solus. To withstand the louder voices who would go too far like Elgernon. I need you.
This is madness. You must know that. I will always follow where you go.
Ooh, that is interesting.
What? This is astounding. The ancient elves were spirits who voluntarily manifested a physical form.
I'd rather go back to talking about the Blight.
Hey, Lucanus. Could Spite turn into an elf?
No.
Sorry, but... what?
Am I a spirit? Holy fuck. I'm not a spirit. I guess our secret's out? This is actually great. This does, however, explain an interesting amount of things about people's connections to the Fade and magic, actually. This is interesting. Because what we know so far is that dwarves are children of the stone. They have no natural connection to the Fade, but they do have stone sense or stone song. Because they are, as we learned in Dragon Age 2, in one of the DLC of Dragon Age 2, that they are quite literally formed from the titans who became the physical manifestation of the world. Lyrium is their blood. If elves originated as spirits of the Fade, who then voluntarily took physical form, that would explain why elves are more sensitive to the magic of the Fade and to spirits than other races are. Where humans came from, we have yet to discover, but it's possible that humans are elves and dwarves getting together and eventually evolving into a third race. We also don't know where the Kunari come from either, for that matter. But it's interesting. Of the 4 main races, we now kind of know the origins of 2. The implications here are wild, and I'm excited.
As world-shaking revelations go, finding out we came from spirits is kind of fun.
Really?
Actually, a whole lot of things make more sense now, like why some magic works differently for elves than everyone else.
And we wouldn't have that magic if not for this.
The knowledge that an entire people were formed from a mass manifestation could change our entire understanding of magic.
If we let it out, is that the right call? Do you want bigoted humans yelling about how elves are demons?
Davrin's got a point. World's not short on small-minded humans.
I don't want to cause harm.
If the world learned about this and it led to attacks against elves...
Elves have enough trouble as it is down in Ferelden.
We have to tell someone, though. Strife and Irulan, at least.
If I told Thea and Viago, they'd think I was sampling Viago's poison collection. No one will believe us.
Okay, we keep this to people we trust who have good reason to know. No shouting it from the rooftops.
Agreed. The Morn Watch has a great deal of experience keeping dangerous secrets.
So, beyond the world-shaking stuff, what else did we learn here? Solus himself was a spirit.
What kind do you think he was?
Well, his name is Elven for pride.
Oh, okay.
There's something else. Not about spirits, or not all about them at least. Solus didn't want to become a person with a physical body.
Right. He only agreed after Mythal begged him.
Then that's his regret. He wishes he'd never taken physical form.
Maybe, but not just that. Solus was scared. They built their bodies out of lyrium, and it made the ground shake.
This started the war. Those idiots. They hurt the Titans. Because remember, the ground is literally the Titans. We have known this since Dragon Age 2. At least the DLC. I don't remember what the DLC is called, but I know it was one of the 2 DLCs in Dragon Age 2. I kind of want to do the sad or sorrowful answer, because I don't want to be angry about it. But it is quite possible that this is what started the war that the Evanuris got all full of themselves to begin with. Before Solus's rebellion. Might be exactly what started the war. Whatever the war was about. This is so interesting. I'm excited, you guys. Oh, this is so cool.
You think the ground shaking was the Titans?
It makes sense, doesn't it? Something was hurting them, taking their blood.
So they struck back, like we'd swat a stinging bug.
The first memory we saw, with Elgarnon seizing power, it happened at the end of a war.
A war between the Titans and the elves.
And we just saw how it started.
It feels like we still don't have the full picture.
Oh, we don't.
But I think that's part of what Solus regrets. He didn't see the danger.
Except he did. He was worried. You said it yourself.
He did it for Mythal. Everything that followed, he could have prevented, if he just told her no.
Then he's got a war on his conscience. Plus whatever we find next.
He's a man of many deep regrets. Oof. Oof. This is fascinating. I'm so glad we started doing this. There is so much lore and so much implication in this. And the way they're presenting it, I am enjoying quite a bit.
Have you created what we need?
With this, The proper ritual will sunder every Titan from its spirit. But you must know those severed dreams will certainly be driven mad. A disembodied blight of pain and anger. It is awful what we're doing.
And the only way to end this war.
And the reason why dwarves have no magic of their own.
Solus made the weapon that killed the Titans. No, not killed. He cut away their dreams and left them broken and mindless. He passed me in the halls of Skyhold for a year. He made polite conversation, and he knew. He knew what he did.
I am sorry for my people, is the Elven-specific answer. Ad starts in about 50 seconds for those still relevant to FYI. 2 ways to avoid the ads. Twitch Turbo, in case you have a lot of streamers you follow and you want their ads to count for them still to support them. Or subscribing to me directly, if you would. They are options, of course. I'm not going to demand it, but either way, you skip the ads. So, do what is best for you in the coming of the holiday season. These memories that he's hidden from himself or something in that direction, then he didn't know. He hasn't known for a long, long time. These are his regrets that he is trying to forget. It is quite possible that he kept them separated from his mind, but would refresh himself of them on occasion, which is why he still has them, even if they aren't with him all the time. I'm sorry. How could he do that? How like him? No wonder he feels guilty. No, I'm going to apologize on behalf of my people. Harding needs to understand that not everyone would agree with Solus, even if they are elf.
Lace, what my people did to yours, that's unforgivable.
You don't need to apologize.
Well, someone should.
Our leaders attacked the Titans for their lyrium. Then, when the war turned against the elves, our leaders did this.
And when the war was over, they enslaved your ancestors. No. Solus, Mythal, and Elgernon are the ones who need to apologize.
To do such a thing. No wonder regret eats away at Solus.
No, it's worse than that. That isn't what Solus regrets. Those severed dreams will be driven mad. A disembodied blight of pain and anger.
Mierda.
You can't.